E aí, gente, tudo bom? Estamos aqui quase há 3 meses já de quarentena, fazendo mais um Ciricutico hoje. Semana passada foi muito legal a conversa do Ciricutico. Quem conseguiu assistir, ou enfim, quem tiver a fim de assistir já tá no IGTV, e agora a gente começou a soltar no YouTube. Foi uma conversa com a Gabriela de Matos, arquiteta, ativista e criadora do Arquitetas Negras. Bom, acho que todo um contexto, né, para a gente discutir sobre a questão de raça. Hoje o Ciricutico então acontece 13h, estou super feliz. A minha relação com o Líbano, com o mundo árabe, já acontece há algum tempo. Eu sou um grande admirador da cultura árabe. Eu acho que numa outra encarnação eu definitivamente nasci por aqueles lados. Tenho uma relação já de longa data com Beirute, eu sou completamente apaixonado pela cultura libanesa. Então hoje eu vou conversar com o Davi Nicolás. Queria só dar um breve contexto. Bom, não sou historiador, não sou jornalista, mas fiz um pouco da lição de casa para entender mais, né, sobre a situação do Líbano. O Líbano está passando por uma situação muito complexa, muito complicada nesse momento, nesses últimos meses. Então, só para trazer um pouco do contexto, né, o Líbano está num lugar super estratégico, que faz essa conexão entre o Oriente e o Ocidente. É o berço de várias civilizações antigas, né? O berço dos fenícios, dos persas, assírios, do Império Bizantino, do Império Turco-Otomano. Então é um lugar que tem já 7.000 anos de história, mais ou menos, e milhares de anos de guerras, revoluções e povos que tomam povos. Isso trouxe um contexto, né, de uma diversidade cultural muito rica. Eu acho que é o que torna aquele lugar tão interessante. De novo, assim, é um dos lugares mais fascinantes que eu fui na minha vida. E tem uma diversidade religiosa muito grande. O Líbano passou por uma guerra civil recente, né, que durou muitos anos, de 75 a 1990. O país ficou destruído, o país foi reconstruído, passou por novas guerras, a principal delas o Hezbollah contra Israel. Bom, agora está fazendo quase 10 anos, né, que começou a guerra na Síria. Então o Líbano também recebe muitos refugiados, são quase 2 milhões de refugiados, ou seja, quase 1/4 hoje da população do Líbano é de refugiados. E, bom, um sistema político muito louco, né? Um sistema político que mistura religião com política. Desde 1946, eles adotaram um sistema político em que todas as religiões têm um lugar no parlamento, o que gera o que eles chamam de hoje, né, de velha política, né? Ou seja, as pessoas votam tradicionalmente menos nas pessoas. Elas escolhem, na verdade, os seus políticos através da sua religião. Então, se eu sou católico, eu vou votar no meu partido católico, né? Se eu sou muçulmano, xiita, eu vou votar no Hezbollah, por exemplo. Bom, o que vem acontecendo é que no dia 17 de outubro de 2019 se iniciou o que eles chamam de revolução. Então, no fim do ano passado, 17 de outubro, dia 17 de outubro, o estopim, né, e o começo da revolução foi porque o governo anunciou que ia começar a cobrar pelas ligações de WhatsApp. Então as pessoas ficaram revoltadas, mas na verdade não foi por causa disso apenas. O Líbano, assim como o Brasil, é um dos países mais corruptos do mundo, né, tem um problema endêmico de corrupção. Assim como o Brasil, é um país com muita desigualdade social, um dos países com a maior desigualdade social do planeta. Então as pessoas estavam indo, né, à rua também contra isso, contra a corrupção, contra todo esse cenário. Tem com deficiências de políticas públicas, o sistema de educação, o sistema de saúde público é praticamente inexistente. Então foi por isso, né, que essa revolução começou. Essa revolução começa muito também contra essa velha política, né? Então os jovens vão às ruas acreditando que era importante derrubar esse governo e começar um novo governo. O que acontece é que a partir de 17 de outubro, uma crise econômica, o país já vinha numa crise econômica, mas a partir de 17 de outubro essa crise se acentua demais. A moeda, que é a lira libanesa, tem uma desvalorização gigante, né? O dólar fica muito mais alto. O dólar também é uma segunda moeda oficialmente usada no país. Ontem eu li uma matéria falando que é o risco, né, do fim da classe média. Então, assim, a classe média libanesa se empobreceu e vem se empobrecendo. Ontem eu falei com uma amiga minha de Beirute, ela me falou que, por exemplo, uma garrafa d'água, antes de outubro do ano passado, custava um preço, essa mesma garrafa d'água custa 6 vezes o preço, né? Então o poder de compra diminuiu muito. Bom, em cima de tudo isso vem um coronavírus, que intensifica, né, todas essas questões. Só para ter uma ideia, o Hezbollah, né, que é um partido milícia, né, era uma milícia que agora tem lugar no parlamento também, toma frente, já que o governo não está conseguindo lutar contra o corona. Então o Hezbollah, que é uma milícia, um partido político, assume a frente da luta contra o corona. Eu estava lendo que só em Beirute eles alugaram vários hospitais, ambulâncias, médicos, enfim, só para dar um contexto, né? Por isso que eu acho tão rico essa nossa troca com o Líbano. Tem coisas muito parecidas, nós somos muito diferentes, mas muito parecidos. E aí, bom, vou conversar hoje com o Davi e Nicolai. Eu estou super honrado, super feliz. Eles são com certeza, né, hoje os designers, né, o grande expoente do novo design contemporâneo libanês, premiados mundialmente, com projetos e galerias representando eles em diversos lugares. Eu conheci eles em várias situações de feira de design, a gente expôs juntos em alguns eventos, acabou ficando amigos, então estou muito feliz de encontrá-los. Vou falar um pouquinho mais deles. Então, o Davi Raful nasceu em Paris em 88 e o Nicolas Moussalem nasceu em 87, no Líbano. Eles são bacharéis em design de interiores pela Academia de Belas Artes do Líbano. Fizeram um mestrado em Milão, na Escola Politécnica de Design. São amigos desde a faculdade, fizeram esse mestrado juntos, trabalharam em vários escritórios em Milão e fundaram o estúdio deles em Beirute em 2011. Eles fazem projetos de diferentes escalas, né, com foco em design de produto, já fizeram design de interiores de restaurantes, de carros. Eles têm uma atenção muito grande aos detalhes, assim, depois olhem o trabalho deles. Claro que foto não mostra tudo, eu já tive o privilégio de ver as peças deles de perto e é impressionante. O jeito que as peças se conectam, o tipo da madeira, a textura. Em 2014, eles foram selecionados pelo New York Times como um dos 3 destaques da Feira de Design de Milão. A revista Wallpaper selecionou os 2 como um dos 20 designers mais influentes, com menos de 40 anos no mundo. A revista AD, a revista francesa, elegeu eles como um dos 100 designers mais influentes do mundo hoje. E eles são representados pela Carpenters Workshop Gallery, que, na minha opinião, é a galeria mais legal do mundo. Deixa eu chamar eles, falei pra caramba. Deixa eu ver se eles já estão aqui. Peraí, aqui a pergunta. Hello guys, I am, yes, there you are. So it's gonna be in English, right? Of course. Or maybe they can practice their Portuguese a little bit. So,
hello, good
hello guys.
How are you? What a great introduction. We understood everything.
Are you practicing your Portuguese already when you come to Brazil for the carnival, right?
Yeah. Big time. This is.
We're looking forward.
We're looking forward. Thank you for the introduction. We didn't really understand, but I think
it sounded good.
It sounded really good.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to finally talk to you. Thank you so much for taking this time for this live. So I was trying to give a little background about Lebanon, about the crisis, about the history, and of course the situation. I think I'm a huge fan of the Arab culture, and I think I told you, I felt like maybe in my past lives, I was born in Lebanon or in Beirut. I feel a very strong connection with the country, the culture. I was very fortunate to be in Beirut a couple of times. I have many friends now. Actually, I just saw that one of our dear friends in common is watching us, which is Carl from Mashhur Leila.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and of course, there is this thing. I mean, we come from such a different countries, but we live somehow maybe the same feelings, right? A little bit of anxiety about what's happening. I mean, Brazil is fucked up right now. It's a very challenging
You want to
situation.
talk about Lebanon? We're in the same.
I think the world is completely fucked up. So
The world is completely fucked up. I mean, not all the countries. So now I see, for example, Europe coming back, and I see everybody back to the beautiful parks and their bike lanes and so on. And the situation here in Brazil, I mean, the democracy here is really on risk. Uh, we have a president that is a genocide. We've been watching a genocide of poor people and of black people. So of course, all these demonstrations around the world about racism, they impact so much in Brazil right now because the situation here is horrible. But on the other hand, I mean, we have to keep doing what we do. Of course, we understand our position as white privileged guys who had education, and I mean, we try to do the best we can, and we keep doing our design. So I'm super excited to see you guys.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tell me, how is the situation right now in Beirut? I mean, how's the streets? Are you guys back to work? Give me a little background about how's the situation there.
So I'm going to speak now. So
Okay.
Basically, we're back to work, depending on your car plate number. So if you have an odd plate number, you can work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and if you have an even plate number, it's Tuesday, Thursday. So it's very super weird actually situation. Protests are back, so the streets are almost full with people that are protesting, which we think is the right thing to do at this point, because we have also had our huge corruption problems we've been dealing with for 30 years. And it's still ongoing. Like, we're not even close to having a solution. So we try to stay positive. So, and yeah.
No, it's a mix. There's so much. It's a mix of problems that are accumulated right now. But actually, the main one in this country is the problem of our country. Then the corona came and made things even worse. Okay, so it's a lot to handle. So I think we're at it's weird because now I was walking and I was meeting some friends and people in the street and stuff. So it's like everyone is like fed up. So they're not even thinking about problems, and they just want to enjoy the everyday life, you know. But it's the only way to just breathe and
I saw you guys were, I saw through Instagram that you guys were participating on the demonstrations from October. And how was it? You were there, right? How was it?
It was.
I think it was natural just to be there. Today, we're not I'm personally not participating as much because I have so many things I have to deal with at the same time. But it's something we have to do, and we have to fight for our freedom in a way or another. So
what was amazing is that, you know, because in Lebanon you have many parties and stuff, you know, and it was like maybe the first time. It was the first time
in 30 years.
In 30 years that everyone is just going there and is fed up of all these kind of parties, and they want just one thing: is Lebanon, just one flag, one thing, one goal. Is like that everyone wants the best, you know, something that is clear, that works in a properly without corruption, where we can have jobs, like where an economy that
industries. Everything is just blocked. It's been blocked for years. So now let's hope something happens well, but we're facing an economical crisis, so we have as well this to deal with. So.
Maybe it's like a kind of shift, you know, because we were talking that, you know, it's a circle, there is a cycle, and I don't know, maybe this in the world, because suddenly it's not only in Lebanon that this is happening, you know. Now with like everything that is happening is like giving us some signs. I don't know.
Yes. Well, we lived a very similar moment somehow in 2013 when the big demonstrations started in Brazil, and it ended up taking out the president of Brazil on that time, Dilma. She was impeached. So demonstration is a recent part of my life. I mean, we are quite of the same generation, right? I mean, I think I'm almost 10 years older than you guys. I'm from 79. But I never been to a demonstration before. So from 2013, I felt somehow proud that I was there, believing that I was making some change in the country. but it end up that it's so much more complex than that,
Yeah.
right? But anyway, it's important to be part of this movement. And I know there is a huge creative community, a young creative community coming from Lebanon in general. So I mean, like you guys and I don't know, like Mark Dibé and Mashhur Leila and so many artists. And Lebanon is this melting pot of diversity, culture, and religion. And again,
Energy.
I taught in Portuguese, so I'm gonna repeat for you guys. I mean, it was one of the most fascinating cities I've been in my life, and I felt it's okay. Maybe it's a little awkward what I'm gonna say, but it's there is nothing compared to Brazil. But I felt somehow the same energy that when I'm in São Paulo. Of course, I was with my friends, so it was easier. But there is this mix between you're not relaxed all the time, and there is a little bit of tension, but it's super creative. I don't know, the atmosphere and the energy was so intense, and of course the food and the music and so on. So how Lebanon is been influencing your work, and how this, I don't know, this revolution or even the crisis, the Corona crisis and all the crises that you've been going through is impacting in your work in terms of, I don't know, concept, production. Is it, I mean, something changed or no?
Definitely something changed. First, I want to say something that we still didn't visit Brazil, okay, and before, like, and it's like a primer destination, okay, first for your architecture and the people and the Lebanese community. And as you said, there is a lot of similarities, especially when you see our families coming from Brazil coming to Lebanon. We can find this. Maybe you are more relaxed. This is something I think Brazilians are more relaxed, and something that you maybe need to
learn, I think.
To learn from you. And okay, so definitely, like, the revolution and everything that happened in Lebanon since October impacted on us. It impacted in terms of psychologically. But why? Because it's the way of thinking. Like, how do we want? You start thinking really, how do you want to help your country also in a way with your work also, but but also you want to create, and you want to get some. We don't want to also to create stuff that are negatives, you know, because the mood is negative. Because sometimes, you know, when the mood is negative, you know that, like when there was the war in '73, it started, and you have this 20 years of war. Like, after all the artists started to create like really nice stuff, but after there was a lot of stuff talking about the war, okay? And our generation today, our goal is not to talk again about negative and war and stuff that happened, but more something like more about hopes, more about freshness. I don't know if we can freshness.
No, but it's to show, like, our work aims to show that culturally we come from a very, very distant past, and not just from like even before the Arab, the Lebanon became part of the Arab world, like really, really way back. And it's just to show that for us, we believe that the ideas that were happening back in 13 BC or something are traveling, and somehow these ideas maybe they don't come to us. Maybe we find them somewhere, like inspiration is everywhere in Lebanon, and I think because you visited, you can understand what we're talking about. So we try to take that energy, translate it into something that means something for us. Like, it's a super subjective point of view. Some may agree, some may not, but this is why we can't live out of here. Like, we have to be here. At the same time, you need to be able to, like, the country sometimes limits you. You cannot really go somewhere else because you don't have a visa, for example, or if you. It's quite complicated, but at the same time, you can't have everything perfect in life. So we try to do the best out of every situation.
But this creates uniqueness, you know.
Yes.
It creates something unique, you know.
Somehow it's the same here. So I have the studio, and it's been very on the edge. I mean, very complicated because I want to keep the people, and I need to make I need to make money to keep the people, to keep the project. But in the other hand, I think it was an opportunity to think about my production and to think about how my work should highlight things I believe it's super important. So I don't know, but I mean, it was very intense here as well. I just want to give you one number. So the Lebanese, so I was studying, and the Lebanese community in Brazil, it's bigger than the Lebanese community in Lebanon. So it's insane. So it's the biggest Lebanese community out of Lebanon. The Lebanese started coming to Brazil in 1880, the first immigrants. And so we have between 8 and 10 million Lebanese descendants in Brazil right now. So this is something I felt when I was also in Beirut. Somehow everybody knows a Brazilian. Oh, my aunt. Oh, my cousin, the cousin of my cousin.
I have a lot of cousins, by the way, in São Paulo. A lot.
Yes, I know. We have, I mean, very important people in culture, in politics. So like João Bosco, one of the biggest names from Bossa Nova in Brazil. It's from his father and mother are Lebanese. And our past president, Michel Temer, it's Lebanese family. One of the best politicians in Brazil. Hopefully one day our next president is from Lebanese community, Fernando Haddad. Anyway, we have this strong relationship, indeed. So, guys, what have you been working during this period? Are you creating new stuff? I mean, what have you been doing? Can you share something? I was really curious to see a little bit of your studio. If you could maybe share us a little bit what's going on there.
Sure we can. Okay, now we're in the studio. It's 7:22 in Lebanon, so we are alone.
It's night already? No.
It's let me try to show you if I can. So because you have the sky.
Nice.
Okay, but now it's almost night. I will show you the street. So basically, let me. So normally, we are 5 in the studio. Okay, me, Nicola, and 3 others, and we all work it's an open space, and it's very open. Everyone talks loudly, and not loudly. No, maybe I talk super loudly. So basically, here it's the street. When you came to Lebanon, did you come to Marim Khayed?
Yes.
Okay. So here, so they renovated just one building there. Okay, and I hope they're going to start renovating all of them if they have money. And you have the street here. You have I'm just showing you just the context. There is a very good Lebanese restaurant. Okay.
Amazing.
And we have the Maison Tarazi, which is a very old craft, one of the oldest craft Lebanese. So I'm showing. I don't know if you see stuff, but they work like all the Oriental.
Wow, amazing.
Now it's closed, unfortunately. And this is our studio, which is on the street. Okay, it's not a boutique, but we have the chance to have this vitrine here. And I'm just trying to now. Sorry, I don't know. Sorry. So we have some pieces. We have some pieces of carpenters, but in picture because it's impossible to bring them.
Amazing, the Supernova collection.
I remember you came to the exhibition. It was really
that was the last time I saw you, actually, right? It was in Paris.
Yes,
2 years ago for the
Paris.
opening. Yeah.
In Paris. Here you can see a paneling that is black, but actually we presented it with carpet in wood.
And I remember you can change the
position with this. It's a rail.
Beautiful.
Okay, it's a cane that we did in 2004 for an exhibition called Lulu Huda. It was very.
Okay, I want to get that.
This is some prototype for a boutique that is going to be revealed also soon, but it's made in Lebanon. This piece, very.
Beautiful. I love that hug as well.
This is also works of wood and all made by hand in Lebanon. It's French oak, and this is a sample of a panel that we use to repeat on a wall. That is, it's for a private residence. That is still not. It's done, but it's going to be presented also soon online. Here is a bit of a workshop.
Oh, nice. I love to see it.
Okay,
This is
Nicolas.
my favorite part for sure. All the mess, like all the materials and drawings.
Yeah, but it's very messy. We are doing some mock-ups here, tries of patterns that we are working on, and we, as you know, as Nicola said, we are going back to 1330 BC, 13 BC. So we are working on, we are researching about patterns, how we can reuse them in our products today with like. Sense. I don't know.
Wait.
Yes, exactly. Okay, here you have. So this is like the office.
This is very sweet during the day. Yes.
Yes. So here, Nicola here, and me and Nicola here.
I love the color palette. You guys always use colors as well. I love it.
Yeah, we love. Actually, we love like colors is really important for us. It's but in a way, you know, look. So those tables, I'm gonna tell you, those tables were white like 2 weeks ago, but it was too white. We just made them in wood, and now it's much better to work. Here we have like samples. This is the paradise.
Nice.
So how we work like on, you can see the wood and the different way marbles, the canage. Like this is a sample of bronze. For a chimney that we did for a fireplace we did in Jordan. Are you able to see? Is it okay? Am I?
Yeah. It's perfect. Yeah, I can see
the tile with the Libanese. A tile we did with a Libanese company called Latchaya. We did a mix of kind of it's a mix of cement, cold press with some stone that does the terrazzo feeling.
Super beautiful. I love it.
This is a piece of supernova.
Yes.
This is the only.
This is marble.
Made in Italy. This one, and this is like also a sample of wood paneling. No, we work a lot. We work a lot on how we can use the material the maximum we can use of a material. We always this is how we try. Okay, this is the kitchen and voila, and some drawings of.
Okay, and you guys, both of you draw?
Mostly me, David. Nicola did some drawings last time. They were not bad at all, but Nicola knows how to write.
Okay.
He knows how to sing, but he has something to actually this is something that we that is when we work together is me. It's harder for me to express myself by word than Nicola. Nicola is really better and this is something that is really working good.
For me, it's really hard to express myself with a sketch. So
that's a good combination then.
That's why we're two. You need two of us to have one human. So.
By the way, Nicola, you just came up with with your biggest project, right? I mean, you are a recent father.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
How old is your baby now?
She's almost 11 months old. She's really small yet still, but it's a beautiful experience.
Congratulations! So, did this? I mean, being a father now probably gave you a total new perspective of life, and I'm sure you're discovering new feelings, new emotions. So it's been a lot of emotions for you, right? I mean, crisis and a baby and I mean, it's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a lot of massive emotions, positive, negative,
hopefully
ups and downs, and then you start to worry about someone else. So it's quite something. But I think it's making me grow as a person, and I hope it made me become a good father eventually. I don't know. I don't feel that I'm a father yet. I still feel too young, but I like that.
But hopefully she's gonna come and work.
She'll be a designer. She has to work
in the office. For free. No, I'm kidding.
That'd be cool for her to start sketching from now. So she'll work
I have a very dear friend watching us, Carol Guy. She's an incredible Brazilian designer, and she just became a mother as well. And I think it's all.
It's much harder for the mother than the father. I mustn't complain, honestly.
Congrats, Carol. Congrats.
And Carol, she's been designing products for kids, like design for kids as well. Did you guys ever design something for kids? I mean, any design for kids so far?
Never, but
no,
we should.
but we should. I'd love to design. We wanted to design something for my daughter when she was when my wife was pregnant, but you know we never had the time. And then you just okay tomorrow, and we just postponed it. And now I feel horrible about it. But we'll eventually do something. At
Do
least
it. Amazing.
for
I would
our
love to
kids, like
see.
Christina and I. Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
we
love to
have
see
do
it.
something. Yeah.
No, it can be really like I think
I think there's a lot of potential in kids furniture, and they're always maybe almost too plasticky and green and red, and I hate them. So it's
And you know, lately we are thinking that you know when you have like when you have like restrictions.
that's why he sketches.
Okay, when you have restrictions, okay, I think it's more interesting, and I think kids furniture have a lot of restrictions, so this is why it makes maybe the products even more deep and
I never did as well, but I really want to do, and I also really want to be a father one day. So maybe we can share this experience together one day. Guys, thank you for showing your studio. It was beautiful to see a little bit of your process, and how I would say obsessed with materials you are, because I think a lot of your work comes not only by the shape, but a lot of this research regarding materials. And I remember one of the things I first noticed, I think the first time I saw a furniture made by you was at the Dubai fair. And I remember the details. I mean, it was all about the tiniest details and the way it was carpentered and so on. I know you also recently opened a studio in Milan. So
Yes.
how it's been working between Beirut and Milan? How are you managing? And how is the production? I mean, did the crisis affected the way you produce in Lebanon, or mostly you've been producing your furnitures abroad?
Okay, we produce. Okay, we're gonna have a small space, but it's gonna be a kind of studio office. Okay, a small base that you're actually designing, and we don't have access right now because of Corona. But we thank you with the FaceTime. We can do a lot of stuff. We can follow up, and so basically we have the production. We have a main production in Italy, okay, and we have the production in Lebanon, okay. So what we did is like it's everything depends logistically, you know, and also in terms of prices, and which is very important because you know you have to understand that today in Lebanon is super complicated. Like everything is like a mathematical problem. Okay, if I have to pay the production of a piece, if you use stainless steel, you know, stainless steel, you have to pay it in dollar cash. So if you don't have dollar in the country, you have to ask the client for a cash that in dollars, so he cannot pay because
the bank won't give
because
it
the bank doesn't give you the dollars anymore.
You have to buy it in the black market. You have to buy 4 times the normal rate. So
yeah, 4 times the normal rate. So it's a recipe. You have to create a new recipe for each project here. So actually, what I can say is that it's project by project, you know. Like
no, especially when you have big productions, like so if you have, for example, 100 chairs, it's much cheaper, like because it's more like the industries in Italy are built for that. Here you go, they will do it by hand. They'll do it perfectly 1, 2, 3, 30 times. And then the guy gets a bit tired, so his hand is going to change a little bit, and you're going to have very different products, which is nice. So when you need something that's handmade, we have to do it here. But when you have repetitions and numbers, I think the Italian companies like do a more.
I just saw like here there's Pierre Frey, La Maison Pierre Frey. I'm sure you know the French brand, very beautiful brand.
Yes.
We're presenting a new project with them.
Very nice.
Yeah, they're very nice, and we're presenting a new project with them of furniture pieces that is like I think in 2 months, September it should be out. We'll see how, but it's a very interesting project because we had to work also with French artisans in France, and we had the opportunity to go and come back. And
yeah, I'm curious because I think this crisis also highlights that the way we've been living so far, might not be the best concerning the climate emergency. I mean, we know we have to face this huge challenge, which is being producing everything new and new and new, and all this huge consumerism. We are also part of stimulating this consumerism. So
That's true.
how you've been thinking about sustainability in your work?
So actually, this is, for example, you were saying if it, you know, because with Corona also, you start thinking about all that. We have something that we always thought about something that when we create a piece, we like this piece to live forever. Okay, to go from generation to a generation, and by the time you're not going to throw it, this is sustainable. Also.
Yes, it's true.
Okay, plastic is not sustainable because plastic is not going to grow.
Yes,
it's going to grow yellow.
Yeah, grow yellow, which is so we don't use actually plastic.
Yes.
We still didn't use plastic in our products.
And guys, can you share about some interesting project that you are developing right now?
Actually, there's a very beautiful collaboration we just finished with a company.
Sorry, I see Martin as well here, the caller. Martin, I met him in Dubai.
Martin, how are you?
Yeah. many friends. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, David's gonna bring the drawings. I'll talk about this now. We're doing this super nice collaboration with a company called Del Savio 1910 in Italy, which was and the companies are directed by Zanellato Bortotto. So they're doing a fantastic job. And in that collaboration, we're working on patterns of cement that are kind of inlaid in marble, but they're not really inlaid. Like the marble is cut out, emptied, and then there's this super amazing technique they do to create these tiles, which when you install in your place or wherever,
I'm going to show you drawings.
Just browse the details and it just becomes one huge tile. And tomorrow we're going to
post
share something about this. David has some sketches here.
So basically, it's which is interesting. I'm showing you through drawings because I cannot show the picture tomorrow. So it's going to be so the green is the marble, and the pink here is the cement. So it's going to be like tiles that you can buy already made like this. So you have the one with the triangles. So that the mix between cement and marble is very, very interesting and very. So you have kind of restrictions to do it. You have kind of like you can in a way that so that it works perfectly.
For us, this collection we imagined it to be a standard collection, so it's standard geometries, the name of the whole process, and because I think their shapes are just timeless and they never die. So whatever you do, you can always need these the basic geometries with the perfect proportions that you've been working on for a while. And if you visit the website, you can even customize your own colors, combinations, and materials. So it's quite something. It's very well done.
We're working also with some new stuff for carpenters. They're on the way, but it's still.
Okay, that's nice news.
I cannot really because it's not. Because the thing is that it's not yet
announced.
No, not announced, but yeah, we have to. It's about this. We are still doing the research, and we want to be sure before starting to talk about it. But it's going to be also, like I told you, the small ceramic that I was showing you with the motif and how to use, because we started the Supernova was also talking about this. This supernova, it was about for example, supernova. To explain it in English is.
Let's go.
No, but I don't know if you want to talk about all of this.
No, I don't want to talk about it, but it's a continuity.
It was about lost civilizations and how Lebanon today is. Now we're facing that, but we were questioning that point a couple of years ago and asking why did we get to that point and where did we somewhere mess up to come to that. And that's why the whole project was a tribute to what we have heard of Lebanon but didn't have the chance to live in.
Yeah, but also it's about really the lost civilizations. And
I just said that.
And that's
I love the way you guys are narrating a story, and I think there is. So I was reading more about your work and some interviews, and I felt some similarity conceptually with our work, even if I mean the output is totally different. But I mean, you guys seem to be very interested in the ancestrality, in the history of like old cultures. You also mix this Orient with the Occident, so it's not about Lebanon itself, but it's about this mix, and Lebanon is about this mix as well. But you are also, it seems you are also very interested by the future, like by robots and technology. So it's like this mix. I mean, tell me if I'm saying something wrong, but it seems like it's
it's definitely true. It's not about the future.
And we started our company with when the album of Daft Punk came out.
Daft Punk, amazing.
And
but you have to imagine the scenario. We were stuck in the middle of Vista Alegre. I don't know if you've been in Portugal.
It's the Portuguese. It's a prime,
super Portuguese brand, of course.
Vista Alegre.
We stayed in their factory for 3 months, just researching.
Amazing.
They were invited to do David, you montre the camera.
Sorry. We were like doing ceramics stuff.
We were invited to do it.
Beautiful, and Vista Alegre is incredible. So you lived in Portugal for 3 months. It was during Sylvia period when she was working at Vista Alegre.
Who?
Sylvia? No.
I don't know. We were there. There was Bruno Jara.
Bruno Jara was with us.
Okay.
Isabel Abreu.
Isabel, yes. Isabel, yes.
But
amazing.
it was some you know Sam Baron. Actually, we met when it was with a dinner with Fabrica, and Sam.
It's true, in Milan. That's how we met. Yes.
Yes, and this amazing dinner was. It was really an amazing dinner, and we and Sam introduced us to Vista Alegre, and when we went there, it was really magical. It was like having this 3 months inside the factory of porcelain and working with your hand and talk with all the artisans telling you how to what is the process, and
it was it was also one of our first experiences. So we were quite young back then, like we were very, very young when we went there. It was something that we were trying to find an identity, why we're doing what we're doing. We had just started the studio, like it was maybe the first week of the studio. I mean, we started there.
And we felt we're living the same thing today.
Yeah. And now with Corona, with the lockdown, and we had to, you have to close and everything, we felt the same questions coming back in. Why are we doing what we're doing? How can we do something to make things better? How can our work affect positively different things? I don't want to say it will affect lives, because I don't think that our furniture is this powerful, but I think it can bring joy, and maybe joy can affect something positive to everybody.
Joy can always affect positive.
I know David is much happier since we turned the top of the table. He just sits on the desk all day long now. Before he used to
but you really look, everything is more. Anything I put on the table is more beautiful now with the wood. It was all white. It's ridiculous. It's maybe ridiculous, but
no, but it shows.
I need something small for me to get.
I love seeing this little creative mess. I mean, I love it. You guys also work so well with patterns. I mean, you don't reproduce like traditional Arab patterns, but it seems you're very influenced by this ancestral pattern culture that comes from the Arab world. But you I love that you said, Nicola, about this ancient shapes, and it's interesting because for me, I mean, the more digital and the more technological I am, and I'm super obsessed.
This is something amazing with your project, by the way. The last project you sent us about the emotions and the empathy. This is something actually that everyone should, because I don't know if I'm sure some people of our followers are listening to the conversation, but this is something you really need to check it out, because it's
interesting you tell this project, because somehow it started. Well, I've been researching how we use technology to create a positive environment for empathy somehow, and using design as my tool, and I've been super interested more and more. So the more digital I'm getting, the more curious I'm about ancestrality, ancestral cultures, and of course the circle, the shape of the circle, as we know, is a I mean, it's a proportion. It's the perfect round. It's the perfect proportion, and the emotional stimulus. This project I sent you the video. It's the result of this idea. I mean, so the past civilizations, they were organized much more around the circle idea,
Yeah,
because the
yeah,
circle invites us to be non-hierarchy. So everybody's looking to each other. Everybody can see each other's faces. We can position the eyes somehow in the same level. So it's all about non-hierarchy and connection. This is what I love about the circle. And the emotional stimulus pretty much came from this idea, because we moved from a civilization that used to sit around the circle, and we moved to a contemporary civilization which sits in the rectangle, right? You have one person on one face, another person in the other, and then all the rest. So there is this idea of hierarchy, of
Yeah.
disciplinarity, and so I'm also very interested about these geometries. But I also know that you use these patterns in a way to narrate stories. For example, the Phoenicians, for example, the Supernova collection. Am I right? How you've been working with that?
Supernova collection, like the pattern that was created for it was not really like, it's a pattern that we created before doing Supernova. It was something we were researching, and the idea was, how can we create a pattern that doesn't repeat and that always expands? So it was inspired by the universe, obviously, and it was
I can show the
we
pattern
thought
because
of
it may be
how
interesting.
can how can this pattern represent the beginning or the basics. So it's basically very simple geometric forms, the most important ones. And they all combine together, and however you change them, they just create this new layout, this new language. People thought it was computer language. No, it's not language. It's not a language. It's just the basics of geometries that exploded and come back together as an object. So this is how we had thought this collection back then, yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
About technology, because this is something we always debate, Nicola and me, is that, okay, how do you, because you work a lot in technology, and we really like this, and the artisanal part also. And there is one thing, is that how do you introduce technology in a product? Okay, how can we introduce technology in a product and keep this piece timeless? You know, because technology can lose
analog. It's the only way.
Yeah, analog. But for example, you did the chair. I remember the chair in wood. That is like this was made through technology, but actually the technology is not part of the piece, but the result is through technology. Maybe this is also an answer of a way of thinking.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, yeah, you're right. So I'm very interested in both ways. So using technology to create, like the noisy chair that you saw, it's from 2012. I 3D scanned one of the most iconic pieces from Brazilian design, from Lina Bobardi. And then I walked around historical downtown, collecting the sounds, the urban sounds. And then I combined the data. So the result is a new chair, which is a mix between the original chair and the music. I was at that time very interested about how can you combine the concrete with the digital. And so right now, what I'm interested also is that right now you can transform basically everything in data. And because of that, as a result, you can mix things that were unmixable years before. So for example, music and design, right? But then you're right, the final result is a chair, is a 3D printed chair. I was also very interested to talk about the authorship. Who's the authorship? Is it me? Is it the original author like Lina Bobardi? Is it the engineers that programmed this to me? Is it the 3D printer? So this is also, I think, a very interesting topic for our generation, the authorship. And but I mean, using these technologies in the piece is very challenging. I remember I was in New York last year, and I've been to the Carpenters gallery, and there was this big piece of Random International, super outstanding piece, like a big chandelier that interacts. And that was my question, like, okay, guys, so if my client get a piece like this, it comes with, I don't know, 1 year or 5 years support, because I mean, I use a lot of LED light, and even if you use a good quality, sometimes it fades down, it breaks, and you have to change. So I never had a final piece that you can buy as a product, but we are working right now in our first piece. And actually it's a piece that we created during the Corona crisis. So during the Corona crisis, I was very frustrated because I'm not able to see my mom and my grandmother, and I miss my friends and families and so on. So we came up with this idea. So it's a sculpture, which it's a mix between art and design. So it's a sculpture. It's gonna be a limited edition. So you can hang in the wall. It's a wood sculpture. It's parametric, it's 3D printed, but the idea is that you can collect heartbeats from the people you love. So every time someone comes to your house, someone you love, someone you care, you ask for their fingers, you introduce your finger in the piece, and for a couple of seconds, it records the heartbeat. And once the finger is out, one of the LED lights start blinking with the heartbeat. So you can collect many heartbeats from the people you love, and then when you are apart, you can just watch the piece and reminds of the people you love. So, and this is one of the big issues. Thank you.
That's really beautiful.
But this is one of the issues we've been dealing now. I mean, how are we going to be able to produce it commercially and to sell? I don't know if someone buys from another country, how we deal with the technology. So indeed, this is an issue, but I think
I think it's possible.
With that. Yes,
I think it's possible because
yeah.
I think it's brainstorming I'm sure can arrive to something.
I'm sure it's going to be something that you will do.
That I want to buy also.
By the way, I mean, so when you come to Brazil or when you come to Beirut, we have to think about this collab, and also think about, I mean, there is this connection between Brazil and Lebanon, and I think there's so many incredible outputs and brainstorming ideas we could come up. So guys, our time is almost ending, and I really wanted to thank you and to invite you guys to make in your super busy agenda. I mean, Milan is right there. I mean, you just turn right.
No, we will come.
Go down in
we
Brazil.
will come. Promise we will come.
No, we will come. We should come for a couple of weeks.
We need it. We need some to go far away, and to come back with some new inspirations, new way, and also, you know, I think a collaboration, like something discuss, doing some debate, like it's really interesting.
Very nice. And I think also discover this, I mean, because again, our countries, I mean, are under this super crazy moment, under development and chaotic, but in the other hand, there's so much life and energy, and the challenges make us, I think, more a part of the reality of the social and the political situation of the world. So I think there's something very significant coming from our countries, and I would love to get more in touch with you guys. So thank you so much for.
Thanks to you. It was
like,
super interesting. We did it.
And it's like it felt like 5 minutes. It's so nice.
Yeah, we didn't keep the time.
Online doesn't feel weird anymore. It's dangerous. Okay.
Okay. So one last thing. I've been asking my friends for a tip. I don't know, something. I mean, the current times still happening in Brazil. So would you recommend, I don't know, a movie, a book, or something for designers and architects to get inspired?
Oh,
no, I think. Let me think. So something that a movie or
for people in Brazil can do during the current time. I don't know, like a Netflix series or a movie or a book or
Netflix. I have a very nice Netflix series that I think that is very inspiring.
One?
The OA. It's not new.
Okay.
It's beautiful. It's a mix of contemporary dance and it's like a thriller. So it's very interesting.
I mean, it was not
on Netflix.
You are
no. Okay. No. It's a very good. One movie that I loved. Okay, I'm going to repeat it. Is the Ferrari versus Ford.
Okay, I saw. Okay, it's on my list.
Right,
good. I'm gonna watch this.
No,
again.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's Le Mans 60 with Matt Damon and
Okay.
Christian Bale. It's a must. It's a must.
I'll be watching it. And I also would recommend everybody that is watching us to listen to Masho Leila, which is one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, listen to Masho Leila. Now
all
we're
the
heading
time.
to cars.
Yes.
Now we're going to.
We're going to cars place right now. Just after our and I'm
They
sure
did
they
a
are
beautiful
preparing
concert
something nice.
here. Yeah. Big kiss, guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
for talk.
much. See you
Thank
very
you,
soon,
and
hopefully.
say hi to Brazil.
Ciao,
Ciao,
ciao.
thank you so much.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.